You have not committed a crime, but the men blocking the street do not know that. Your lantern catches their faces as a wooden staff drops across your path. Behind you, the city gate is shut. The windows around you are dark. One watchman studies the bundle under your arm. The other waits for a name he recognizes. You have one problem. No one nearby can explain who you are. In 1285, England's Statute of Winchester ordered the night watch to hold a passing stranger until morning. If nothing suspicious was found, he could be released. If suspicion remained, he could be delivered to the sheriff. So look at the choice in front of you. Stop, lose the rest of your night, and hope daylight clears your name. Or run and turn uncertainty into pursuit. Why did darkness make an ordinary traveler suspicious before any crime was proven? Stay in that street for a moment. A few hours earlier, the same bundle under your arm would have meant almost nothing. A baker might have seen you leave a workshop. A neighbor might know the house you were heading toward. A stallholder could remember who sold you the object inside it. Daylight surrounded you with witnesses. Now the shutters are closed. The market noise has vanished behind timber walls. The glow from a doorway appears for a second, then disappears. Your lantern shows the watch a face, a pair of hands, and the edge of something wrapped in cloth. It does not show where you came from. That is what the town has lost. Context. The authorities could not bring daylight back, so they tried to control what moved without it. In large walled towns, the Statute of Winchester ordered gates closed from sunset to sunrise. During the formal watch season from Ascension Day to Michaelmas, it called for 6 men at every city gate, 12 in each borough, and smaller groups in less populated towns. Do not picture a modern police force in matching uniforms. Picture local men standing through the night beside a gate, expected to judge people they might barely see. Now here the hinges move. The gate closes and the street changes shape. One route disappears behind heavy timber. The men beside it become a checkpoint. A traveler who could walk freely in daylight now has to pass through someone else's decision. The law focused on one person in particular, the stranger. The watch did not need to catch him stealing before stopping him. If a stranger passed, the statute ordered that he be held until morning. At daylight, if no cause for suspicion appeared, he could go free. If something still looked wrong, he was to be handed to the sheriff. That statute tells us what the Crown ordered, not what every town did perfectly on every night. A gate might close late. A watch might be short of men. A familiar resident might be waved through. But the rule reveals the problem clearly. When the watch could not settle who you were, mourning became part of the investigation. And your strongest protection might not be the lantern in your hand. It might be the person standing behind you. The same law told bailiffs to investigate people lodging around the edges of towns. A host was expected to answer for the guest under his roof. See what that means in practice. An innkeeper steps into the doorway. He knows when you arrived. He saw the horse you rode. He remembers the road you said you would take at dawn. Suddenly, your story belongs to a place and a household. Now close that door. You arrived too late for the inn. No employer claims you. No neighbor recognizes you. No host is willing to answer for your presence. The watch has only your bundle, your accent, your explanation, and the way you react when they block the road. The town's real security system was not built only from gates and weapons. It was built from people who could place you. That is why the same street did not treat everyone equally. A servant carrying his master's authority could borrow the household's reputation. A messenger could name the person waiting for him. A local trader might be known before he spoke. A solitary traveler carried only his own story. Now suppose fear makes the decision for you. The staff drops. A watchman reaches for your arm. You pull away and run. The street behind you erupts. The Statute of Winchester ordered the watch to raise the hue and cry against anyone who resisted arrest. One shout could move past a doorway. Another voice could repeat it. Bells, footsteps, and people carrying staffs or tools could turn a private confrontation into a public chase. Nearby communities were expected to continue the pursuit from place to place. The system was not magical. People could sleep through the alarm, hesitate, or refuse to chase a stranger into the dark. But from your position, the danger has changed. A moment ago, you were unexplained. Now every person who hears the cry sees someone fleeing the watch. Running does not prove what you did before the chase. It changes what your movement means during it. And while that pursuit cuts through the street, another transformation is happening inside the houses around you. A bell could announce the curfew. The word came from an expression meaning cover fire. In a crowded town, an unattended flame threatened more than one family. Look through one open doorway before it closes. Someone lowers a ventilated ceramic cover over the household fire. The flame falls, but the embers remain alive for morning. In another house, a rushlight burns quickly. A tallow candle gives a smoky, uneven glow. Cleaner beeswax is far more likely to appear in a church or a wealthy home. None of these lights fills the road. They create islands. A face appears near a window and vanishes. A lantern reveals a hand, but not the alley behind it. A doorway gives the watch one clear object and hides everything connected to it. That is the trap inside your own lantern. Light can show that you are not trying to hide. It can also expose you without explaining you. The watch can see the hammer at your belt. It cannot see the workshop you left. It can see the sack on your shoulder. It cannot see the customer waiting for it. It can see that you are walking quickly. It cannot see what frightened you 2 streets behind. By the end of the 13th century, London had repeatedly issued orders against armed men wandering after curfew. In 1331, legislation placed nightwalkers beside suspected persons and ordered that they be kept securely. Listen to what that word does. Nightwalker sounds like a description of time. In the records, it could become a judgment about character. But the night was not empty, and walking through it was not automatic proof of violence. Go to Cornhill in 1369. The evening market is still alive after sunset. A seller holds up an old garment in weak light. A buyer rubs the cloth between 2 fingers, trying to decide whether it is really new. A parcel changes hands behind another stall. Voices rise over a disputed price. London's authorities moved to stop that market from continuing after sunset. They complained that poor light helped old clothes pass as new, allowed stolen goods to be sold quietly, and encouraged brawls. A city does not regulate a night market that nobody attends. So the real division was never simply good people indoors and criminals outside. It was movement the community could explain, and movement stripped of witnesses. Beside the market, your bundle looks like merchandise. Alone in another ward, the same bundle can look stolen. At a tavern door, the people behind you may know your name. 2 streets later, the watch sees only a stranger walking away from drink, noise, and a possible quarrel. And sometimes the watch had only seconds to decide whether an ordinary scene was becoming something deadly. London's surviving coroner's rolls preserve 142 homicides from selected years in the first half of the 14th century. They are not a diary of normal nights. They survive because somebody died. But their timing shows why early evening worried the city. Around 77% of those killings happened from early evening into the first hours after curfew. About 68% happened in streets, markets, wharves, and other public spaces. Now enter a tavern in December 1326. Stephen of Lynn has won heavily at a game of tables, an ancestor of modern backgammon. His opponent, Arcus of Rikelinge, is furious. He does not strike inside the tavern. He leads Stephen out with deceptive words and walks beside him through the night. Near the gate of St. Magnus Church, Arcus stabs him. Pause the scene before the weapon appears. What would anyone watching from a doorway have seen? 2 men leaving a tavern, 2 men talking, 2 men walking together. The first movements of a killing could look almost identical to ordinary evening life. Darkness did not cause that murder. The records cannot tell us how many people walked home safely. What they show is the problem facing anyone responsible for the peace. A harmless group and a fatal quarrel could share the same opening image. That made reputation matter. In the early 14th century, a London jury decided that a man named Garcias de Sanitaire was not a nightwalker. In 1371, John Chadell faced a more detailed accusation. He was described as a habitual nightwalker who played dice at night and disturbed his neighbors. Notice the difference. One label could be rejected. Another was built from repeated behavior and what local people said about the man. London's ordinances also left room after curfew for a great lord, a substantial person of good reputation, or someone from such a household who had authorization and carried a light. Now place 2 travelers beneath the same lantern. The first names his master, his destination, and the household expecting him. The staff rises. The second names no one the watch recognizes. No door opens. No witness steps forward. The staff remains across the road. Both men are visible. Only one is legible. That is why being outside after dark could make you a suspect. The night did not automatically turn ordinary people into criminals. It removed the witnesses, open businesses, familiar routines, and social connections that normally explained what they were doing. The watch was expected to make decisions inside that absence. Return to the closed gate. Your lantern still reveals your face. The bundle is still under your arm. The men in front of you still have no proof that you stole anything. But proof is not the first thing they are waiting for. They are waiting for a story the town can recognize. And until daylight, a stranger standing in the light could remain more suspicious than whatever was hiding in the dark.